Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem for OGN. Today we have our very special guest, and she's always a very special guest, and that is a sister, Yvonne Ridley, and she is aboard the Omar Mukhtar Flotilla on her way to Gaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam. Great to see you, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Sister Yvonne, we want to ask you about an update. What updates can you give us?
Well, we are not full speed ahead. We're idling at the moment, but we are on our way to Gaza. There's nothing between us now and the Palestinians. So clear road ahead. And I don't know if you can see, but there's some of the flotilla boats from the Sumud flotilla ahead of us. There's so many different flotillas out in the Med at the moment. It's incredible. The Italians have joined us, and they're the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla Coalition. And there's our one boat, which we still call the Libyan Flotilla. And you know how everyone used to have a podcast?
Right.
Well, now it seems everyone has to have a flotilla.
Well, we'll take that as a good thing. Now, I want to ask you: are you still being escorted by an Italian warship? Is that right?
An Italian Navy and the Spanish Navy. I'm looking round at. Oh yes, I can't see from here, but over there is one of the naval boats.
Okay.
And they're not as easily identifiable as we are, because we're proud of our flags. So we got them all over, as you can see.
I see them. And now you have communication with them should anything arise. Is that right?
Yes. They've told us they're not. They're in an observatory capacity, and they won't intervene. But under maritime law, if a humanitarian ship is attacked, they have to intervene. So we'll see how the words play out in practice if in the event we are attacked. I did spot a drone a couple of days ago, and I looked it up on there's all sorts of apps you can get now, and I looked it up on this app, and it was from Turkey. So I'm assuming that that's a good drone, and that's keeping an eye out for us to make sure that who knows what's going on, Bilal? We've got Netanyahu and Trump meeting today in the White House to discuss a 25-point plan for Gaza. Not one Palestinian has been consulted in this, and apparently Tony Blair is earmarked as a governor for Gaza, which is madness. You know, this is the man who created 1 million widows in Iraq, and he's going to be the new governor of Gaza, apparently, which all sounds very imperialistic anyway.
I have trouble getting my head around that. I'm just not feeling that in any way that's going to work in a Gaza surrounding, because you see, you have to understand something, and I think people around the world aren't understanding one thing. Hamas came from the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people don't come from Hamas. In other words, even if Hamas as a group entity were to disband, that doesn't mean that the resistance of being occupied is over. The two are not one and the same.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that we're at the crossroads of a really seismic change in world power. Um, I think the Americans are declining in power, and I think the global south is emerging as a force to be reckoned with. And of course, the Middle East is still volatile. You know yourself, living in Syria, nothing is taken for granted. Each day brings a fresh challenge and something new. Um, and as 400 Brits have already discovered in Syria, I'm just finding out how worthless a British passport is. It's of no use whatsoever because the British government would rather sell bombs to Israel than tell Israel not to bomb me.
Right.
It's you couldn't make it up. Um,
Um,
and
Sister Yvonne, I want to now ask you about your estimated time of arrival. When do you think you might arrive on the shores of Gaza?
well, of course, it's all weather dependent and dependent on other outside factors. But inshallah, I'm hoping that we will be able to see the coastline of Gaza by tomorrow. Um,
Okay.
Certainly within the next couple of days. I mean,
Okay.
we're more than halfway there. You know, all the sort of small problems have been ironed out now. The boat is performing wonderfully, and the food has been fantastic. We had an Arab dish yesterday,
Mhm.
and it's the guys that are doing the cooking, I have to say, and my husband was laughing when I told him because he knows I can barely boil an egg, and the food has been just really amazing. And this
Uh,
is not some fancy cooking range. This is using, well, what I would have recognized as a Bunsen burner at school. It's
right. Let me ask you let me ask you a question. What do you think is going to be the likely, I didn't say the hopeful, but the likely outcome once you have the Gaza shores in your sights? Do you believe that A, they will allow you to pass through? B, they will try to stop your boats by attacking and or bombing your ships? Or a possible C alternative? What do you think is most likely from what you're hearing?
Everybody says I'm being naive, but I think that we will sail into Gaza port. There might be a few shenanigans from the Israelis, but we're not asking them permission to pass through. It's not their waters, it's the Palestinian waters, and I know there's a big welcome waiting for us. We have people on the ground who are waiting for us. I mean, previously the security was provided by the Hamas government. Of course, Hamas has been degraded now, uh, and so there's no way we'll have such an organised and secure reception as we did the last time.
Right.
So I'm imagining it will be a bit chaotic. I hope the IDF snipers aren't around, um, and I also hope those treacherous people who there's about 300 who a guy called Yasser al-Shahab pulled together for Shin Bet and apparently the Palestinian Authority, although they're denying it.
Mhm.
They've been doing dirty work for the Israelis, and it breaks my heart, because we tend to iconize the Palestinians, but there are some bad eggs in there.
Sister Yvonne, we're just about out of time, but I want you to ask you one very important question. You worked for decades in the field of journalism. And if you look at the major news outlets around the world, the big corporate media, almost none of them are covering this flotilla. It is viral on social media. In your opinion, because you've been in these boardrooms before, is this a political decision or a news decision not to cover what you guys are doing there?
No, it's a political decision. From a news point of view, even though I'm on board, this is a historic event. This is the largest ever flotilla which has been pulled together in peace. There's never been a flotilla like this. The nearest thing, I think, was centuries ago when 1,000 ships were set sail for Helen of Troy, and that was very much a war effort. This is the first ever flotilla, armada, anything floating that's been pulled together in the Mediterranean for a peace mission. And
Right.
it's historic, and it will be written about. There will be books about it. We journalists, just do the first draft of history. But this is huge. And we're also politically on the cusp of a potential World War III. We've got NATO ships around us protecting us. This is unbelievable. Two countries have launched naval ships, gunships, so that we can deliver baby formula. I mean, what
Right.
the hell? It's 2025 and we are risking our lives to put crumbs in the mouths of babies to stop a genocide, to stop a Holocaust. And, dare anybody ever talk and say never forget? Because I don't think anybody will ever forget the Gaza Holocaust and how it started and who was behind it, and how our world leaders have seen the same images that we have seen, and yet they'd rather sell bombs than save babies. Shame on them.
All right. Sister Yvonne, we're going to have to leave it there. We're going to try to reach out for you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get a sight of the Gaza shoreline, and we'll be speaking then, inshallah.
Inshallah, we will. And thank you for taking an interest. Long live OGN on the ground news. Does what it says on the tin.
Jazakillah khair. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem for OGN, and we have been with Dr. Yvonne Ridley.